Sometime in mid-December 2017, two Call of Duty players, one named Casey Viner and Shane Gaskill, were playing a match. These are live games. Sometimes, usually they're live streaming, right? So there's an online audience and, people take this very seriously. They're here to watch this game. Now, apparently when they were playing, this guy Shane accidentally killed Casey's character, and because of this, they lost a bet. So Casey is pissed and they have some kind of fight. And, it's a game. Whatever, who cares, right? To you and I, it's a game, who cares, whatever. But this is like to them, this is very serious. So Casey wants to get back at Shane. So he ends up contacting the internet's favorite SWAT hitman, Tyler Barris. Casey Viner messages Tyler and pays him to SWAT Shane. So Tyler begins following Shane on Twitter using the SWATistic account, trying to figure out where he lives so that he can SWAT him. But Shane notices this. He knows all about Tyler and probably assumes that Tyler following him means that someone is planning to SWAT him. So Shane actually reaches out to Tyler and sends him a message saying, quote, "Please try some shit. I'll be waiting." He gives out like this full address, okay? "I'll have you in prison for 5 years, buddy. Casey already gave me all the proof I need. Bah ha 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 ha. Hello, pussy bitch. Say something." Not the pussy bitch. Oh, they love to say words like that. Now, Tyler is so confident at this point that he doesn't even care about Shane's threat. He's like, go ahead, whatever. And on December 28th, 2017, Tyler calls in the SWAT on Shane using the address that he sent him in that Twitter DM. Now, it takes Tyler 3 calls to actually get through to a 911 dispatcher, but finally, he gets connected. Once he gets through, Tyler has his whole story ready. He tells the police that his name is Ryan and that he lives at the address Shane gave him. He says that he shot his father in the head because his parents were arguing and it was getting out of control. He said, quote, "My mom and my brother are really scared right now, so I'm just pointing a gun at them and holding them in the closet right now." And when you're saying this, like the 911 dispatcher has to respond. On the call, I guess he also said that he was planning on setting the house on fire and committing suicide. Now, instead of sending in a SWAT team, the police dispatched police officers that were already closest to the address, which is standard operating procedure in most instances. The problem was, these police were not trained in hostage negotiation. So they showed up ready to deal with the situation that Tyler described on the phone. But not only was the whole situation fake, but Shane did not even live there. He had given Tyler an old address of his. Now, people actually did live at this address. The man who did, his name was Andy Finch. He was 28 years old, he had 2 kids, and was completely unrelated to anyone in this story. Just minding his own business, doing his thing. It was another day, Now, Andy was at home where he lived with his mom, Lisa, and his niece, Adelina. Adelina was 17 and had been adopted by her grandma, Lisa, after her mom died in a car crash. When the police showed up at their house, because they show up, Andy comes out to the porch to see, what the commotion is all about. So the police are yelling at him to put his hands in the air, and he does. But for a split second, he lowers one of his hands, and the police think that he's reaching for a concealed weapon. So one of the police officers, named Justin Rapp, shoots Andy in the chest, which ends up killing him. Adelina runs out of the house completely freaked out and has to step over Andy's body and hear his last breath as he dies. Andy was essentially her father, so I can only imagine how horrific this must have been for her, it's just awful. So the police began to search the house and start to realize that nothing is adding up. The situation they were told was happening was clearly not taking place. Meanwhile, Tyler calls 911 again because he doesn't know that the police have already arrived at the location. He gives the operator his fake story again, and the 911 operator tells the police the details again. Well, it wouldn't take long for things to get traced back to Tyler, and he was arrested literally the next day on December 29th, 2017. He went on a major YouTube channel and I guess confessed to everything.
Of course, I was involved. However, other people were involved. The call was made by me, but as far as the whole incident, you could point the finger at numerous people.
I wouldn't say confess. I would say more like he was bragging. Now, initially, he was indicted for manslaughter in Kansas, but the federal government takes over the prosecution in May of 2018, since this case involved multiple states. Tyler makes a global plea deal with the feds in November of 2018, which resulted in a 20-year sentence. And he is still serving that sentence today. His charges included cyberstalking resulting in death, conspiracy to make false reports, wire fraud, making threats or death or damage to property by fire, false information and hoaxes, and involuntary manslaughter. So it was a lot of charges. Once law enforcement had access to Tyler's whereabouts, his phone, and knew his methods of swatting, they were able to trace multiple other swats back to him. And it turned out he was connected to a bunch of swatting incidents in over 17 states over the space of 3 years. Shane, who gave Tyler Andy's address, was also held accountable for his part in the shooting. He was sentenced to 15 months in prison and had to pay a fine of $2,500. Even Casey, who was the other Call of Duty player, was sentenced to 15 months in prison and 2 years of supervised release. Andy's family sued the city of Wichita and the WPD, who settled the case after extensive litigation. They were awarded $5 million for his wrongful death. But the tragedy didn't stop there. Andy's niece, Adelina, the one who witnessed his death, sadly ended her own life a year later. Poor thing. She was only 18 years old. Her grandma, Lisa Finch, said that she blames her granddaughter's death on the events that took place on December 28, 2017. She said, quote, "She, Adelina, has internalized everything. If somebody even mentions Andy's name, she withdraws and walks out of the room. She has not been able to deal with it. I guess this was the way she was dealing with it," end quote. Apparently, Tyler is expected to be released on January 14, 2035, but then he'll stay under close supervision for an additional 5 years. In 2019, during his hearing, Tyler Barris told the court, quote, "If I could take it back, I would, but there's nothing I can do. I am so sorry for that."